You've heard him in Disney, Westworld, and even on McDonald's commercials, but today you'll hear him on the Indie Wave podcast. Kaz Weinbren, head of CC Beats, is in the house, and we'll talk to him about his work scoring films and making hits. That's coming up today only on the Indie Wave podcast. The Indie Wave podcast. That Sailing Guy. That Sailing Guy, also known as Christopher German. In partnership with Glacier FM and broadcasting from the birthplace of grunge, Aberdeen, Washington. Welcome to the Indie Wave podcast. Welcome to the Indie Wave podcast. I'm your host, That Sailing Guy. These last few weeks, we've had more than our fair share of stars from television and the movies, but there's a big part of our viewing experience that we don't really ever think about, the soundtrack. I've always thought radio was kind of like a soundtrack to life, and the best part today is our guest this week is not only rocking the charts over at Glacier FM, he's also playing with big names like Disney, HBO, McDonald's, Nike, and the list goes on. He's a producer, a film composer, a recording artist, a piano man, and a direct relative of music royalty. And he's a fireball of energy, as you see in the interview I shot with Kaz Weinbrenn. His production company, CC Beats, is on fire over at Glacier FM with their hit Ring Ring, and his music streams count in the millions. And while you need a triple shot of espresso to keep up with the man, he's the nicest of guys working to share his love of music with the world, and he attributes his talents to his great-grandfather, who survived the Holocaust thanks to music. So, let's get to it, shall we? Let me first play for you a bit of his hit Ring Ring by CC Beats, and then you'll hear from the man himself, Kaz Weinbrenn, composer, keyboardist, and all-around great guy. So here it is, folks. Ring Ring by CC Beats.
Yeah, yeah. I used to love it when you would call me every morning. You made a bitch feel important, but all of a sudden you started running from me. Yeah, yeah. Did I give you too much attention? Was I too quick to start undressing? Did you just get tired of it? Baby, better answer my questions. Cause if you don't answer, I will not pick up your call at 3 in the morning when you've been drinking that alcohol. Yeah, if you do not answer, I will not pick up your call at 3 in the morning. I'ma be doing other things, other things. I'ma be doing other things, other things. Or let that phone ring, let it ring. Or let that phone ring, let it ring, 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 ring. I'ma be doing other things, other things. I'ma be doing other things, other things. Or let that phone ring, let it ring.
All righty. Hey folks, today we have this has been a long time coming. We've come to this point of almost recording this thing a whole bunch of times. We've missed cues. We've been talking the last couple minutes about the advent of digital communication and all this other wonderful stuff and all this amazing stuff that's going on right now. But today we have a really cool guy that's with us. His name's Kaz Weinbrenn, and if you haven't heard of him, it's because he goes under the name of CC Beats, and he has got some amazing tracks out there. He's got millions and millions of downloads on Spotify and Pandora. He's just tearing up the charts. He's worked with Nike, he's worked with Disney, he's worked with all kinds of good things like that, and he's an amazing man. And one of the things that's really so exciting about this conversation is that I want to tear apart the web of music and production that he has out there, because he's a keyboardist. Apparently, he's also related to some amazing musician royalty. I mean, he's all things to all people. And without further ado, Kaz, are you there? Can you put your face on the screen and can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on?
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, man. Sometimes you get technology that's supposed to help you, but it's all good. Yeah, man, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no
my-
problem. So let's unpack this all, because there's a lot of stuff about you out there. You are a prolific man, and your energy level is through the roof. So that's exciting. But tell me a little bit about your history of where you come from musically and how you got to where you are right now.
Yeah, well, that doesn't look either. But anyway, so music saved my great-grandfather's life. He played with Tchaikovsky in Tchaikovsky's orchestra. They actually have a Spotify. They're actually in 1908 from the Holocaust. So I truly believe, on first-hand experience, that music is spiritual and you can save lives together. So that's why I have so much energy, is because I am the first-hand experience, the spiritual way. So you take inspiration from all around you, like New York City, the culture of New York City, and you use it to be inspired to invest in technology and opportunity and take advantage of all times.
Well, you've absolutely gotten some talent for that. I think it's coming through the years, and maybe you're not with Tchaikovsky, but you're certainly with this new brand of music that's out there right now. And you've done with Disney and with Nike. You got a ton of tracks out there, and currently you are number 35 on the charts at Glacier FM, tearing up the charts, going faster and farther every damn day. And so tell me about all that stuff. I mean, how did you get to this?
Yeah, so I mean, it's all evolution. Like so my father taught me music at 3.5. But I was a prodigy. So so I was a prodigy by 14. I went to Manhattan School of Music and Professional Children's School, same school that Jack Antonoff went to. Manhattan School of Music when I was 14. I could have gone Juilliard, but I wanted to be Gershwin when I was 14 years old. So since from high school through and then I went to Purchase College to study at musicology and economics. So then I was and I always wanted to be Dr. Dre and Eminem. I heard Dr. Dre and Eminem when I was 10 years old, and I was like, that's what I want to do as a classical piano player. I heard the Marshall Mathers like da da da, that's what I heard, and inspired my whole entire life. And so then before I graduated, and still to this day, I got reached out by Mac Miller's people. So it's like, and then I worked at Static Selecta recently. Static Selecta, Action Bronson. From 2010, 2011 to now. So I've been established. I've been in 2011, and just now really fighting for utilizing better communication, because that's a problem. Fractionalization does not work. It's just totally. It's all about building direct relationships, and hip hop is really built on that. And if somebody, as Biggie Small says, you show love. It's the Brooklyn way. And being in New York, you take a little bit of everywhere, and you see what inspires you. And it's really about that direct building and seek and opportunities about how these tools work together and how to make the modern Instagram musical is my next goal. So I'm going to be figuring out, with Spotify's help and Google's help, and really all tools help, about how to make the world a better place with music that we can essentially heal Ukraine with, or heal the world of the sins. I wrote a song for Ukraine last year. So, so I'm a modern musicologist.
I hear a teacher in your voice. I hear somebody that's trying to teach the world about the beauty of music, and that sings something to my heart as well. Because, quite frankly, I mean, you have a ton of produced tracks out there that you do a bunch of production work on, but you also have your own stuff that you're putting out there as well. And one of the purposes of this podcast, the Indie Wave, is to try and inspire this creative culture, this creative economy that's coming up here, and get people out there, the indie artists out there that have the music in their soul, and get them to share all that. And it sounds like you're a poster child for all that.
Well, yeah, but I'm still developing. I think there could be better. Ideally, I could see Meta festivals, or more Spotify. I feel like Meta and Spotify need to do a better job in general, protecting and being more and giving better things for them, because it's all about direct communication, and music is the best kind of direct communication, right? So it's all about better partnerships, just the whole entire brand collaboration. And we can remotely work with people around the world. I've done collaborations thanks to music. So I think it's a collaboration between the people, as well as taking the initiative from companies to really inspire, as well as collaborate. Because if they have the network, I think that we need to have better transparency. So there's a lot of things that can be solved, but they have to put an initiative. And there's like, either you go at it with lawsuits, because I played on multi-million stream songs and there's no composer rights, or I go about a solution because there's no composer rights. Because my great-grandfather played with Tchaikovsky, because I'm coming from that kind of lineage, I'm trying to, and worked with Disney as well as, Action Bronson, all connected through jazz and classical music in New York City. I connect everything to the dots, and I'm finally, thanks to streaming, it's creating an opportunity that we've never seen before to really heal 400 years of slavery and just heal the world realistically, because that's the power of music, is that it's spiritual in nature and creates harmony by definition. So this
Well,
business itself
you're hitting on a point that I just brought up actually on a post I put out on YouTube a couple days ago, where I was talking
yeah,
about networking, and I was talking about working with other people, and that I don't think this day and the age where there's this, you're going to get a fat record contract and all of a sudden you're going to be the big man and the Johnny Suave and all that, and then go out there. That's not going to happen anymore. What it is, it's a collaborative effort of people working together to build each other up and create a network of amazing ideas that's going to be out there. And I think that it's so much more important that we act professional and we act courteous to other people, and we use good communicative skills, and we do all these things to really facilitate a communicative effort in the entire nexus world that is music. And it seems like you're doing a lot of that right now, and that's a lot of what you're talking about.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, it's more about how we utilize his tools as a producer to really build the best kind of media. So I used to be composer, I used to be music producer, now I'm a media producer. So it's a little different, but it combines everybody together. And I think it's more interesting because it's better. There used to be the record deal, now there's a media product partnership sync thing. So everybody wins. So it's like if one guy wins, you buy the stock of the other, and everybody wins. So everybody wins now. And how music is really tying the businesses together for everybody's creating better. And it's really, once it's oversight, there's an opportunity that's going to really change the world. Thankfully, there needs to be oversight regarding about the protection of music itself and more collaboration in general. But now the poster child for fighting for composition rights, but also in just general about how we can be utilized success. Because I mean hip hop is that culture. It takes a little bit of everything to create the best. That's the beauty. It's not just, that's the beauty of, I personally like Broadway. I think more Gershwin still, I would rather be than a hip hop producer, but it's so part of it. Like I grew up in it, right? Like, right. I mean, you can't avoid it. And that's the problem. Gershwin's my idol. Tchaikovsky's my idol. Like, I mean, like these guys write stories that inspire. Disney's my idol. Disney movies are my idol. And it's like, even now I'm seeing through transparency that the better communication, even on the major scale, everybody's getting negatively affected thanks to the lack of transparency, as there's no system really built in, public system built in place. And all these companies were able to take advantage, but it's actually by seeing these problems, they created this solution via the power of transparency and communication with Muso.ai and Royalty Exchange, and other companies are really providing opportunities to inspire new artists and better communication regarding like relationships. And it really does come down to relationships. But not only,
I'm glad I have the opportunity to get pictures and video when I do this podcast, because a lot of people just hear this thing. But quite frankly, if you go to your website and you look at all the tracks and all the things you have going on your website there, you get a very good understanding of the design of that website and the flow of that website when talking with you, because you're a dynamo, man. You're an absolute dynamo. Tell me a little bit about CC Beats and how that fits into this whole thing.
Yeah, so so in 2011, I also formed part production team CC Beats. We write original music. We just actually got a placement for sync. We've done more sync, but on different placements, different independent artists as an independent producer. So it's like it's my music as a composer. Like it really represents me as a piano player. I'm a piano player by trade, right? So it's like I have to play keyboards every day, or it's like, what's the point? Why did I even start? Tchaikovsky's trying to save my life, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just trying to, trying to say, trying to prove, and just, CC Beats my band. We have a lot of records coming out, have new collaborations, new opportunities, different labels, different people, whatever, independent, major, like all the same, collaboration, and hopefully getting more work as a producer and keyboardist is my goal. So I'd like to.
Well, we'll talk to you a little bit of the creative process about Ring Ring. That's the one you have going number 35 on the charts over at Glacier FM right now. Tell me about that cut a little bit.
Yeah, that's with Mickey Shiloh. So Mickey Shiloh runs a great, really dope independent record label network called Hard Drive, and she's a queen songwriter. And she's so we have a couple projects coming out. We have a short EP that we did, and we put Ring Ring as one of them, and it's really getting it's getting a lot of that's great for getting recognition. She's a great producer, she's a great songwriter, so it really represents our sound. And so I have, I'm always looking for different people to different songs probably to push out as well, independently. I have so many more. I have songs as well on Spotify, and even the songs I did with Action Bronson and Joey Badass, if you want to check out some of those that I've done in the hip hop world or with Disney, Recently I'm Finally in Me, which combines that and hopefully more modern musical, Instagram musical, opportunities. Like, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Both with major brands, major labels, major companies, and everybody else. And I think it's a combination. Like they should be more respectful. We're all connected on the phone. Like they have no excuse not to call me.
Well, I want them to call you more, which is one of the reasons why I do this podcast is, quite frankly, I think fitting you within inside the realm of this tiny little screen and this tiny little speaker here, you're about to blow the screws out of the thing, because the energy that's coming out of this is absolutely amazing. But before we go too much farther, I want to play a cut from you from your channel there, over there. One of the cuts I really liked was Ole Ole. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about that song and who plays on that and why people should be heading to you.
So that's CC Beats. So that's me and my partner from Bayonne. We make these kinds of beats together, and S.A. and Ulissa Martinez, who from Houston via my guy Vaughn One, who's a preacher actually and reverend and an artist himself. We collabed. We just put out this. We're putting out this record, and I'm seeing like what Beatroot and other labels can help do for me and other things as well, and seeing how it does. And we just put it out. It really represents salsa is music. Because salsa is culture. Everything is part of the salsa. Salsa is the evolution of salsa and hip hop. That's why I'm saying, like, when you have to take more of the innovations from hip hop society of combining. That's the salsa. So salsa is the name of the ole ole. It's like that's what I mean. I think I'm better playing music than necessarily explaining it, but I mean.
Well, Kaz, your energy is electric, as is your music, and quite frankly, I think it does you no service to try and fit you inside the little tiny YouTube screen or inside this little tiny speaker here, because you are an absolute dynamo of energy. And I want to give some people some taste of that energy. They've already heard your cut ring when we introduced this segment, but now I'm going to go out now and I'm going to show them Ole Ole. This is Ole Ole by CC Beats, Kaz Weinbrenn's brainchild. If you like the energy, if you like the sound of this whole podcast, you like what's going on here in this conversation, you want to check out his work. He's Kaz Weinbrenn. This is Ole Ole.
Quiere más, mira niña fatal. Back on the wall, I'm a boss, I'm a diggity dog. I'm the man on demand, I just came here to dance. 100 grand, couple bands, if she wants in advance. You know the plan, you the sun, come and give me a tan. We on the sand, ain't no chance, you ain't gon' give me a dance. Come on, let's go.
Nada negativo por acá. Deja todo eso y más detrás. Mueve lo que te dio tu mamá. Eso, dame más. Baila, baila, papi chulo, mamacita, todos juntos. Vamos a bailar, yeah, vamos a bailar, yeah. Baila, baila, papi chulo, mamacita, todos juntos. Vamos a bailar, yeah, vamos a bailar, yeah.
This for the real now, this for them years we was drowning in tears. Cheers, yeah, here's what it is. This for the trio with the spokes on their wheels, ice in the grill. boy, stop playing, make them remember your name. Get on the plane, once it's gone, you won't see it again. This is the game, click, click, bang, I do not entertain. We grown and saved, nothing changed, I just stayed in my lane. Ain't got a lane, I was playing, I've been hogging all lanes. Come on, let's go.
Nada negativo por acá. Deja todo eso y más detrás. Mueve lo que te dio tu mamá. Eso, dame más. Baila, baila, papi chulo, mamacita, todos juntos. Vamos a bailar, yeah, vamos a bailar, yeah. Baila, baila, papi chulo, mamacita, todos juntos. Vamos a bailar, yeah, vamos a bailar, yeah, yeah.
Kaz is an amazing man, isn't he? And to think there was a chance that we might never have heard from him if his great-grandfather didn't make it out of the Holocaust in Europe, thanks to music. But how many children in America are being denied a chance at music appreciation because their schools' budgets can't handle a music program? How many people around the world struggle for the most basic elements of life, but somehow manage to create amazing sounds using rudimentary instruments and their voice? Think of the steel drum, an instrument that was born out of poverty, crafted from empty steel drums left over on the islands, and transformed into music. How many artists came from abject poverty to become stars? Eminem, Bob Marley, Kurt Cobain, so many. Take a moment to think about how music has affected your life, whether you're an aspiring musician or just an avid music appreciator like me. Music saves lives and makes lives worth saving. Share this show with someone who needs a little music in their life, won't you? And that's it for this show. Thank you to Kaz Weinbrenn for joining us for a sit down. You can check out more of his work over at KazKeyboardProducer.com, and you'll find a link to his website in the description of this show. Big thanks to Glacier FM for helping share the world of indie music with the masses and helping to get this show off the ground. And thanks to you for tuning in and giving us a reason to keep this show coming each and every week. Hit that subscribe button to show your love and share this with a friend to make sure that love goes on and on and on. We'll see you next week, folks, when we sit down with another film composer who is making waves over at Glacier FM, Vicki Lynn Smith. That's coming up next time on the Indie Wave podcast, so be sure to tune in. That's all for now. Do good, have fun, and sail far. It's a line I used to use when I was writing my blogs. I'm that sailing guy. We'll see you next time.